Hi everybody. Let me fix y'all up here. Alright. Hey y'all. What's going on everybody? It's your girl Shantiga once again with another controversial topic. And I know some of y'all probably like, oh Lord, what's she talking about now? But it's not that kind of party. I saw a really interesting article as I was scrolling Yahoo News. I love to read Yahoo News on their homepage because there's a lot of interesting articles and stuff like that. And I came across this article about this guy who wrote an article defending his wife on her choice to be a stay-at-home mom. And underneath the article, there was a link with the new Time magazine article entitled "The Child-Free Life When Having It All Means Not Having Children." And I was like, oh snap, they really trying to, start a riot. Because, some people, they real serious about having kids and stuff, and for a person to just choose not to have kids, especially with all these people walking around having issues with fertility and all of it, and you could have children and you choose not to have kids. So I just thought it was like really interesting, and it's really great to see like a debate. But of course there are the dummies out there who just take the debate to the extreme, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm pretty much just stating my personal opinion on the subject, and I would like to open up a discussion on what your thoughts are on people who choose not to have children. Now let's do a disclaimer. I gotta put a disclaimer out there. These are my views. This is my opinion. It's not set in stone. It is not passed. The law is not passed by Congress to say that you have to, agree with everything that I say. But I just ask that you all, agree to disagree respectfully. A lot of people on my previous controversial topics, they choose to disagree, which I don't have an issue with the disagreeing, but I do have a very big issue with the disrespect. Excuse me, y'all, I have allergies. I don't do the disrespect, because the way I feel about it is, if you can dish shit, and you can take it. And if you say something crazy to me, I'm going to say something crazy back to you. Excuse me. Yeah. And so if you want people to respect your thoughts, you can disagree and say, oh, I don't agree with that, this is what I think, and that's it. You don't have to be like, you stupid, blah blah blah. That's not necessary. Like, come on, grow up. So that's all we're trying to do, is just open up a dialogue. Now let's just get right into it, honey. My first experience with a person that made a choice that did not want to have children was years ago, when I worked in the restaurant industry as a restaurant supervisor, and I worked with another manager of mine. It was a young lady. She was probably like maybe a couple of years older than myself, and she was really adamant about not having children. She was like, I don't want kids, I don't want to have any kids. And I used to just be like, why, girl? Why you don't want no kids? You sure? Yeah, you gonna change your mind when you get on. She was just like, no, I do not want to have any kids. I don't care. And this young lady was just like everybody's godmama. Like, she had like a plethora of godchildren, and she always had them kids with her. But she just did, and I just found that to be so strange, because, and this is when I was in my 20s as well, and I just thought the whole world wanted to have kids, because that's what I wanted. And I just couldn't understand why she did not want to have kids. And I used to ask her all the time, like, girl, why you don't want to have kids? I almost said her name. I was like, why you don't want to have kids? And she just was like, I just don't want to have kids. I have enough nieces and nephews and enough god kids to fulfill my life, and so I don't need to have kids. I don't want to. And it wasn't until I got older and my way of thinking kind of like, it lightened a little bit, until I understand that that is actually a good thing. And I think a lot of people in today's society, we're in a society where people could care less about how many degrees you have, what your personal accomplishments in life. They just want to know, do you got some kids? And that's the issue that we've been having, my husband and I have been dealing with since we have surpassed our first year of marriage. And people are just like, because people kind of, they'll ask like right after you get married, like, y'all gonna have some kids, whatever. And we're like, of course. And so after we celebrated our 1 year anniversary in May, then everybody was just like, hold up, I thought you said you wanted to have kids. What's going on? Y'all been married a whole year. Like, what's the hold up? Y'all gonna have kids? Y'all gonna... And it's just like the questions continue. And as we embark on being married for almost 2 years, we will be together for 2 years. December of 2000, this December coming up of 2013, we'll be together for 2 years, and we'll be married for 2 years in May of 2014. And so people are just like, well, what's the hold up? Blah, blah, blah. And I think people secretly judge you, because I felt that way when I was in my I'll say in my 20s. I felt that way because I grew up in a very tight-knit religious community, and that's just what people did. Some were pregnant when they got married, and some got pregnant shortly after they got married. So it was always like you always saw people with children. Like any relationship that you saw, eventually they had kids at some point. And so that's just what I have always been around. And so when I got into my 20s and I was in the dating scene and things weren't looking good, I was just dating exclusively, well, not exclusively, but like serial dating, people were kind of like act funny towards me. People who I was really close with, once they got married and had kids, I was just like, boop. She ain't got no kids, don't invite her to nothing. She's not married, don't invite her to nothing. She's nobody. And I was just like, damn, people really just forget about you and just kick you to the damn curb because you don't have a husband or a kid. And I think the situation that hurt me the most, I don't even remember how old I was, but I know I was in my early 20s, and a really, really good friend of mine, he got married to this lady, and it was so funny because she was planning her daughter's birthday party, and she was filling out the invitations in church. You have that break in church where you're waiting for things to get started or whatever, and I guess to kill time, she just started filling out the invitations to give to the people to people at church. And so I kind of glanced over at what she was doing, and she kind of tried to cover the invitations, hiding it, oh, I don't want her to think she gonna get one. And I just looked away, and she's just like, oh, Shantika, I would invite you, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to come because you don't have a husband and you don't have any kids. I was like, what? I said, well, what does that have to do with me supporting your child's birthday? And I was just like, whatever makes you happy, I could care less. That's kind of dumb, but okay. And so that's just how I felt about it, and I just felt so isolated and shunned. I used to call it the clique. A lot of my other friends who were single and childless at the time used to poke fun at the mothers in the church, excuse me, y'all, because they were this secret society, if you were single, you were suddenly on the do not mess with list, you know what I'm saying? And it was just so belittling and so I hated it. And so, but I do get that, and I'm so off topic, not really, but I do get that there are people in this world, and I just said all of that to say that society is programmed to believe and to think that all people should aspire to be married and to have children. And just like we could say that some people don't want to have kids, there's some people who don't want to be married. They want to date for the rest of their life, or they just want to, do their own thing. They don't want to be bought. They don't want to deal with, having a piece of paper that ties you to a person forever. They don't want to deal with that, and that's cool too, in my opinion. And I think people, I think the article kind of is misleading a little bit as to the reason why couples don't want to have children. I've heard reasons like for the main title, you know, having it all means not having children. That's stupid. Like, you think that because you have kids, like, your life is over, all of your money goes to them, and that's just not the case for everybody. You know, some people, they're very, like, you know, fulfilled in their life, and they're extremely happy that they have kids. There's that select few who, once they have kids, they're like, what the hell did I just do? You know what I'm saying? And I do have a family member, which will remain nameless, who has only one child, and I used to ask them a lot of times, you know, are you planning, you know, if their child is like, you know, almost 3, are you planning on having a second child? And they're just like, heck no, kids cost too much money. I want to keep all my money to myself. I already paid. And this is a person that buys their kid designer this, that, and that's nothing wrong with that. But of course your child is expensive when you're spending $400 or $500 on a car seat, like crazy stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Of course your child is expensive if you're spending money like that, you know. But I get it, you know. Kids, you know, on average are costly, and a lot of people don't want to give up, you know, their lifestyle that they're used to, living, to buy their kid Pampers or whatever it is they need to get for their kids. I used to be a nanny for a family for almost 10 years, and the mother was a flight attendant, and her marriage was like, she was her second time being married, and I felt like she, like, hated her kids because she would always sit and be like, she was always like in my ear telling me, don't ever have kids. My life was so perfect when I didn't have kids. I traveled the world. I met celebrities, because she was a flight attendant, so she was in contact with a lot of different types of people. And she just, like, when she had kids, it was just like, she has to come home after work. She can't take a extra flight here and there. She can't, you know, it didn't stop her from buying designer stuff, because all, you know, she had designer stuff and Sharon had designer stuff, so that didn't stop her from spending. But she just, like, made it sound like having kids was the worst thing on the planet, and I was just like, but you have 3. Why didn't you stop at 1? Like, don't sit here and tell me how horrible having kids is in your behind. Stay pregnant. You know, that's what irritates me. That's what irritates me about people. Like, once you get into it and you see that, and she didn't even have a kid half the time. I had a Sharon all the time. So I could see what she was complaining about. And so, it's just instances like that that kind of irritate me. And I think that's kind of what separates, you know, the people that love their children and, you know, feel like their children are my whole life and this and that, versus people who have kids under the impression thinking that it was this way, and then when they have them, they're like, oh hell, they get on my nerves, you know. Or when the kids reach a certain stage in development that is a bit tough and they become difficult, like, you know, the terrible twos and the tween and the teenage, when they start acting like their mind was going crazy, they're like, oh, I should have never had you. You too much. You know, I think people just, like, pick and choose. I don't know. It just seems like people just, like I said, pick and choose, like, what's great about being a parent, you know. And so, there's like a list of things that people say that, I guess, in comparison to a childless, people who choose not to have children and people who choose to have children. And the first one is childless couples are happier. That's stupid, because that's not necessarily true. I know people who don't have kids and they are so miserable. So, I mean, it just all depends on the person and what you're going through in your life specifically or whatever, because it plays a big part in happiness, you know. lots of things play a great part in happiness, and doesn't have anything to do with whether you have children or not. So that's a dumb statement. Um, Childless women maintain their figures better. That's a dumb statement because we're in this TTC community. We're in the YouTube mom community. I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of you comment on very popular YouTubers and some of them, honey, they get pregnant and them bodies get boom snatched back. So that is not and I know some people just like myself. I don't have any kids. I've never had a child, never been pregnant, and I'm heavy. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything. There are plenty of women that have children that get their figures back. Either it's through, they exercise a lot, or they just have great genes and they just snap back. That don't have nothing to do with nothing, child. Not having children will allow couples or a person to focus more time on their goals. That's a lie. I know plenty of people who have kids and they go to school, they work, and they do everything that they travel, they do a lot of different things. Look at it's a stupid example, but look at all the celebrities. They do it, they live their life, even though they probably have 100 nannies behind them, but children don't stop them from doing whatever it is that they want to do. And there are some people who don't even have nannies who it don't stop them from doing jack. They do it still the same. I know people that don't have kids who just sitting around wasting their life away doing absolutely nothing. So that's a dumb statement. I've heard people say that you're not a real woman unless you give birth and unless you have children. That's stupid because what does having a child have to do with you being a real woman? You know what makes you a real woman? The fact that you were born with a vagina and breasts. That's what makes you a real woman. Anything else is just stuff that you just develop based on how you were raised, your lifestyle, situations and stuff. That's it. All that other stuff is just don't matter. Some people say that not having children, you won't be complete if you don't have any children, which is not true. There are plenty of people who don't have children who live a very fulfilled and complete life. They just choose their lifestyle over having children, or they just don't want to be bothered and they want to live their life without having to deal with anybody, and that's fine too. Any potential husband would divorce you if you don't have kids. That's a stupid statement because, and I feel that a lot of people completely ignore this step while they're dating, courting, or whatever you want. They don't talk about nothing. It's like they just live in this land of in-loveness and they don't talk about anything. And I've seen 100 times, especially in my family, where people get married and then a person just announces, look, I don't want to have any kids. You're just looking like, well, when did that happen? This person always felt that way. Why didn't you discuss that before you get married? You have to discuss everything: finances, sex, what kind of lifestyle you guys want to live. You have to discuss and agree on everything. You don't wait till after the ink is dry on your marriage license to figure out whether or not your spouse wants to have kids or not, whether or not they want to do this or that. That is not the time. And I think that a lot of people, I think when you're out there looking for a mate, you have a criteria. There's somebody, and I always say this, there is somebody for somebody. There are people over here that don't want to have any kids, men and women alike. They need to go find, and it's just like the society is just grouped of people who just don't click or don't match. Their values and their lifestyles and their choices don't match, what the person who they are in love with, they don't match at all. And so they're constantly in conflict because people try to get together and say, okay, well, she says she don't want to have any kids, but I'm going to try to convince her. No, you can't change nobody but yourself. And you're going to set yourself up for a divorce, a failure, if you get into a relationship and don't discuss, exactly what your expectations are. Because people, my parents just call me ruthless because when I used to date, I used to lay down on the table, honey, you know, because I've had a couple of scares, where, the contraception broke, condoms broke, whatever the case may be, and I had a boyfriend tell me, you need to have an abortion, and I was just like, excuse you, I don't believe in that, and he just like freaked out over it, and I was just like, look, if you are gonna act like this, we're not having sex anymore, and that relationship was done. Because I'm just like, if you find out ahead of time, if a guy tells you, look, I do not want to have any kids, and you plan to be sexually active with that person, then you may want to reconsider sleeping with them, because anything could happen. Nothing, as we all know, nothing is 100% foolproof. Contraception was made by man, so it's gonna fail at some point. It may not fail for this one or that one, but you may just be the very person that it fails, and you're gonna have to deal. That's why a lot of people run around here raising kids on their own, because the guy was like, look, I ain't signed up for this. You chose to keep the baby, you raise it, or the other way around. The woman was like, well, I don't sign up for this, I don't want to keep this kid, you raise it, And so when you're dating a person, you have to be clear about what you expect, what you want, so that everybody is on one accord and on the same page. And I think the world would be a better place if people were just honest with themselves. There are so many bad parents. I mean, we see on the news all the time where people are leaving children in the bushes, where people are abusing kids and treating them horribly. And I always tell people, like, if it's something that you really don't want to do, you take the necessary steps to make sure that it doesn't, because you're not doing anybody any favors by having children and you don't really want them, because it's going to show that, I guess, disdain for them being around. You're going to resent them, and they're just going to have a horrible life. Because they're going to, deep down inside, they're going to know my mom and my dad never wanted me, they don't like me, they could care less. And then you also have people that say, oh, I want to have kids so that they'll take care of me. That should not be your reason for having kids. We all know that you cannot control a child's path after they turn 18. They may decide to move away and never visit you behind, or call you or see you again. You don't have any control over that. So having a child primarily just to satisfy a need to be taken care of when you get old, you have to get that out your head quick. You can't. There is no guarantee that they're going to stick around to take care of you. And then you got the other set of parents who are like, oh, I want something to love, and I've heard this a lot of times, especially with friends of mine who've gotten pregnant as teenagers. Oh, I want a baby so that they can love me, and that's just not a good reason to have a child anyway, because there are going to be moments when you make decisions that children do not agree with or don't like, and the first thing out of their mind, I hate you, mommy. So what you going to do then? They probably don't really hate you, but that stings your heart because you love this person unconditionally, you know what I'm saying? And I honestly think that, I mean, if I don't want to have kids to fulfill me, just to, I'll say not to complete my life, but because it will complete my life, because I won't really desire for anything else after I have children. But to, for people who say, oh, my kids are my whole life, like they don't have any other interest outside of their children. So when their kids go off to college, they're just like depressed and they're just like on the verge of suicide. No, that's not cool. It's healthy to develop other interests and other things that you want to do in life aside from your kids, so that when they do go off and they're independent, they're doing their own thing, you can be like, oh, y'all going out with your friends? Well, her mama going out with her girlfriends and we gonna have a good old time, But there's a ton of reasons why people choose to have kids and choose not to have kids, and I think people should just stop judging folks on their decisions and just respect whatever path that they want to take in their life, because guess what? You're not going to live their life for them. You're not shelling out no money. You're not doing anything to help them if they decide they'll go with whatever it is that you want them to do, and they're not going to be happy. People who live their lives for other people based on other people's opinions, they never really are satisfied because they're always striving to please and trying to, get you to like what they're doing or accept what they're doing in their life, which is just nuts. And so what do you guys think? Because I know even in with my husband and I, our TTC process is between him and I. Other than YouTube, which nobody in my family or outside, well, I don't know if they watch it, they do, nobody said anything to me, nobody is aware of. Nobody's aware that we're having challenges, having kids or whatever the case may be, because it's not really none of their business. And I don't advertise it, and so people do have their opinions about my husband and I that are completely unfounded because they just assume that since we're not pregnant or we haven't had a baby yet, they just assume whatever they assume, and we do get shunned and we do get, not invited to stuff because, oh, you don't have any kids or whatever, like this Sunday my god sister is having a birthday party for her kids. And my husband and I are going to go. We're not going to stay long because it's a little too much, but we're going to go and support them. But on average, we don't really get invited so much because every single person that we know has kids. Everybody that we know have kids, And that's just how it is. We live in, that's the society that we live in. It's not that we don't want to have, of course, obviously, we want to have children, but it don't happen as fast as everybody else who just pop out, and they look at you like, hello, what's the hold up, what's going on? I thought you said you wanted kids, what's going on? And it's too painful to just go through the whole rigmarole of what we're going through and stuff like that, and then you get all the sympathy, and you don't really want that. But I just think people should just keep their comments to themselves, or just, if you want to ask somebody, you can ask in a way that doesn't make them feel bad. Like, oh, why you don't have any kids? And if they say they don't want to, just accept it. Just be like, oh, okay, cool. And it took me a long time to do that because I was notorious. And that was when I was in my 20s. I was so annoying in my 20s as I look back. I would just be like, why? Why you don't want to have kids? But now, getting older and, maturing a little bit, you tend to understand that everybody chooses their own path in life, and I think that we as individuals, we need to just accept people and their decisions in life, and that's it. So let me know what y'all think about this hot topic. Do you know people that choose to not have kids? Do you know people who have like crazy, outrageous reasons for not having kids, or they just simply just don't want to be bothered? You know what I'm saying? Or they don't like kids, don't want to deal with them. Let me know down below like what you think about this particular subject, and do you think that society pressures women to have kids and to have a family, and on the flip side they condemn women who don't and call them selfish and a lot of different things? Let me know down in the comments below. And it's just a great debate just to see, not really a debate, but it's just interesting to hear, your side of things and, what your experience on the subject is. So just let me know, y'all. Anyway, I have to go because my nose is running and I've been talking for a long time. So I will talk to you guys later. Enjoy your weekend. Peace and happiness. Bye.